Good morning. You're listening to TDGB Video 90, The Dead of Winter, which, now that I think about it, is not the best title. In this video, I am making a book of a novel that I have written. It is a very short novel so it's basically a very long short story, or a novella. It's about 60 pages. And it is about a dead writer who meets a woman in a coffee shop, the owner of the coffee shop, and they discuss life and everything else. It takes place from fall to winter, and the title should be spoken as The Dead of Winter, because the writer is dead. So we have to learn more about the circumstances around his life, which is why I think the title is not so good. The subtitle is A Novelist's Kanazawa Afterlife. That's more to the point. Maybe that's too to the point, but that's what the novel is about. It is also a very character-driven novel. Almost all of the action takes place in one coffee shop and one restaurant. Okay, the two places it takes place are in the coffee shop and a restaurant. The three places it takes place are the coffee shop, a restaurant, and outside near the park here in Kanazawa called Kenrokuen. I wrote this novel in pages, and then I saved it as a PDF, and I put it in a program called Cheap Imposter. Cheap Imposter puts the pages in the correct order so that when you make signature of, say, 5 folios, the page numbers line up correctly. This is a big time saver. After I send it through Cheap Imposter and I say print in the Cheap Imposter application, it gives me odd and even signatures. Now, I made 5 folios for this particular book. Each signature had 20 pages. I print it 5 pages at a time. I print first the even, and then I flip it over and print the odd. This usually works out unless my printer decides to do something strange. I think I had 3 signatures, so about 60 pages, yes. And after that, I start making the book, folding, creasing, and sewing. I made my own headbands by putting a piece of string in some book cloth, and I'm using recycled files as bookboard. I did, however, use book cloth for the cover. Speaking of the cover, I spent a lot of time aligning the title on the front cover and on the spine. This took a couple of hours of manipulation on the computer with paper and until I finally got it straight. It worked out, I think. It looks good. And on my most recent trip to Tokyo, I ran around Shibuya looking for end papers, and I found one store that had end papers and another store that used to have end papers, but it was closing and they didn't have any end papers. And the book cloth came from an online store because nobody in Kanazawa has book cloth, and I didn't want to leave Shibuya to look for book cloth because I know there's some far away from Shibuya. But I didn't want to go there. Oh, another thing I want to say about the book is I'm trying to make an audio book of this novel. It's only 60 pages and it's 8 chapters, and each chapter is working out to be about 9 to 11 minutes. And I've recorded quite a bit. I'm trying to make it cleaner, and someday I hope to put it online so you can purchase it and listen to it and get the ebook. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the ebook up on Apple, Kobo, and Barnes & Noble. In order to get an audiobook on Apple, it has to be AI generated, and I'm not sure if I like it. I have one AI generated audiobook on Apple called The Merchant of Venus. You can listen to a sample of the audiobook, and please tell me if you think the AI generated voice is good or irritating. As you can see, the book boards are very thin yellow files, and they work out quite well. Before I glued the book boards to the book cloth, I made sure that the book boards were big enough to take on the book, and that the spine piece, this book doesn't have a spine piece, but that the spine area was wide enough for the spine of the text block. And then when I made sure that the spine of the book cover was sufficient for the text block, I taped it together, making sure it was this right size. So that's why in the video you don't see me measuring anything. I've already measured off camera. This particular book I sent to a client and they've already read it and they really liked it, but it has changed considerably since I sent it to him. He got the original, he got the first draft, and when I looked at it, I made some changes. I cut out an entire scene that I didn't think moved the plot or the characterization, and I added some other things, not major things, but made it a little bit more deeper. For example, all of the music mentioned in the story was recorded the same year the famous author was born. And in fact, this is how I think my creative process works. I wrote the story, I liked it, I told the client about it, he liked it, he wanted it, so I made a copy of it. So I made a book, and I sent it to him, and he liked it. And then I go to record the audiobook, and as I'm recording the audiobook, I realize there's, for example, that one scene that progressed neither the plot nor the characterization. I dumped it, and then I found words and phrases that bordered on cliche, so I changed it. The book that I'm making now, that you're watching me make, is not the same as the book I've changed, and it's not the same as the audiobook. They're similar. They're very similar, but there's some major changes. So if you want to get the full experience, you have to get the book you're watching now, which is impossible, or the ebook, which will be different from the audiobook. Small changes from the audiobook to the ebook, because I am recording the audiobook and then making changes for the ebook. The ebook is the latest edition, I think, so far. This video is obviously not a tutorial. I think people who know what they are doing are probably cringing at some of the things I've been doing, but I think if you watch it, you might be able to find something that you can learn from, and not the least is watching some of my mistakes, that you will not make those mistakes. But the end result is a book that the client enjoyed. I mean, he enjoyed the book and he enjoyed reading it, because that's two things I enjoy doing is reading. Yes, I enjoy reading, but I enjoy writing fiction and making books. So the two combined together. Thanks for watching, and if I can impose, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care.